Hi folks, it's deck building time again. Welcome to this deck building series that we are doing with the Friendly Open. And I'm joined as always by my co-host Hannes. Hello.
Hello, Miha. Thanks for having me again. And today we have another guest, a very special guest. He has been the host of the famous tourney at the Wall in Berlin and this year's German Nationals. And he has been the Greyjoy player for Team Germany. So a warm welcome to Alexander. Hi.
Hi guys, thank you for having me. It is an honor to be here with you.
Yeah, thanks for attending. So you have been playing Greyjoy for Team Germany, so I guess we're building Greyjoy today.
Yeah, we are building Greyjoy. Today, I was thinking which Greyjoy deck I would like to introduce, and in my opinion, there are many pretty strong decks out there at the moment. There's a Greyjoy Fealty, which has done very well in last days, but was nerfed a bit during the last restricted list, and we always have Greyjoy Prince with Prince Balon, which is always good and strong and very fast deck. And of course, we have that Drowned God stuff, and nowadays we have that Mill stuff. And but I'm going today with a classic Greyjoy deck, I guess. This is a deck which I played in my first tournament entrance years ago, and it's Greyjoy Crossing.
Excellent. So Greyjoy Crossing as a classic. Although we had a lot of entries in the Worlds with Greyjoy, I don't think there was one Greyjoy Crossing. So I'm really excited to see how you build it.
Yeah. In when we are playing the Lord of the Crossing, we have to deal with the less strength in the first challenge and get the benefit of the plus strength in the third challenge. And with House Greyjoy, we can profit from both of them. So I guess in Greyjoy Crossing, the both main and most important characters here are Balon Greyjoy, the core Balon Greyjoy. He's quite unstoppable, but the stronger he gets. And we have small Theon Greyjoy, which is normally strength 2 and cannot be all defenders do not provide their strength into the challenge when they are stronger than him. And if you use Theon Greyjoy for your first challenge, which you always do if you have Theon on board, he is strength 1 and very, very hard to defend. So I guess in every Greyjoy Crossing deck, Theon and Balon are the centerpieces. So we have 6 characters already chosen and can now think about what we want to add. Nowadays, the hardest question in building Greyjoy decks is which Usher to play. The 7-cost Usher is probably one of the best cards this game has. But in this deck, I prefer to play the 6-cost Usher, the Usher from the box, which provides stealth to all unique Ironborns. It's just because the cost and the setup. We want to have a setup that is one 6-coster, one 2-coster, and one 0-cost economy location. And the 6-cost Usher fits perfectly into this setup we like to have. So we're happy to see Balon in setup, and we are happy to see Usher in setup. So we need some 2-cost characters to build this up.
Okay, so we are taking 3 copies of Asha.
We're taking 3 copies of Asha. Yeah, we're taking 3 copies of Asha. We're taking 3 copies of Balon, and we are taking 3 copies of Theon.
Okay, so let me ask you this. We have, of course, the 7-cost Asha, as you say, is a great card. She is restricted now. If she was not restricted, would you take her instead of the 6-cost one, or was the other one always your first choice here?
I played both decks. in the last tournament I played Crossing, I do remember I played the 7-cost Usher, but at last days I played the 6-cost Usher, not only because of the restriction, but because of getting proper setups.
Okay.
So 9 cards set, I guess. We talk about the 2-cost cards to get our setups done. We need some intrigue icons. If you are playing Crossing, you always want to do at least 3 challenges. So let's put 2 Lordsport Shipwright in. Very nice cards. They have the Ironborn trait, which can be important later and has a decent ability, but we do play it here mostly of its intrigue icon. So 2 copies of them and 1 guy which less sees plays in these days fits here perfectly with his intrigue icon. It's Vex Pike. So we add 1 copy of Vex Pike. Another 2-cost character that belongs in every Greyjoy decks, I guess, is Master Kerwin. He his only task is to save the important characters by killing himself. And another brilliant 2-cost guy for this deck is Master Vendemir. He gives us stealth and strength 2, which means he can use he can use in the first challenge as well with his 2 strength and gives some stealth, which is sometimes needed. And in this deck, I like to play the Augment Reavers, which are 2-cost Ironborn Raiders. I play them here because of their not because of their stealth ability. You don't always get 10 cards in this card pile with this deck, but for their trait, their Ironborn. As I said, that might become important somewhere. And the last 2-cost guy we put in here is one guy from the brand, the Build-Up package, 2-cost Eric Envil Breaker. I hope I pronounced it right. Some kind of a tough body, 4 strength, military icon, power icon, 3 keywords, but can mostly use only once in game. But this one using can be very, very important while playing this deck.
Okay, so you have no way to stand him.
I do. We're playing Maiden Spain when we are going to the locations, but the one Maiden Spain is the only chance to ever stand him. There are no other stand abilities in this deck.
Okay.
Then we play some classic Greyjoy stuff cards. We play 3 1-cost Iron Islands Fishmonger. Yeah, typical reducer and used for claim soak, of course. We play Maester Murrenmoor. It's a 3-cost character, but has an insane ability to get you handle some annoying locations your opponent might play. And yeah, we are playing 3 copies of the Drowned God Fanatic. In this deck, don't hesitate to marshal 1. Yeah, we all want to have these guys in hand to cancel whatever our opponent is doing. But here, for your 3 challenges, it might be very useful to have 1 in play, let him kill for military claim, and let him come back. And so you are able to do 3 challenges with only 2 characters on board when you're first player. That makes much sense in some matches you are playing. At last, we are playing 3 copies of Euron Crow's Eye, the core Euron Crow's Eye. it doesn't fit in our 6-2-0 setup wishes I spoke earlier, but such a strong body with this needed intrigue icon. He's an easy fit in here, gives us renown and scares every opponent. Another 6-coster for this deck is Victarion Greyjoy. The Victarion Greyjoy from Lions of Casterly Rock. There might be reasons to play him 3 times and to play Usher only 1 time, or to play Euron only 1 time. But in this deck, I play Victarion once and Usher 3 times, as I said before. And if I counted right, that might be 29 characters we are going with, right?
We have 28 at the moment, so missing
28
one
at the
more.
moment. Okay. We forget probably the brilliant Hagen's Daughter,
Okay.
which is a very good card for many setups. Especially won me very matches against Burn. Because she comes right after she was killed back, and here she is an Ironborn and unique Ironborn. So she is carrying the stealth of Usher, and that's even more important beside her awesome ability.
She's one of the very few abilities that actually can save from burn, right? By being put into shadows instead of being left on the board, right?
Yeah.
I love her for that as well. Everything that helps against burn is great.
Yeah, and she's so brave, coming back every time someone threw some fire on her. And if you have the money for that, just bring her back here. It's not possible to kill her with a drowned god fanatic from the dead pile because it's a cost. Because said other way, if you kill her with the drowned god fanatic from the dead pile, you have to put her in that pile as well, because the cost cannot be saved. I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, unfortunately. That was actually different in the core set in the original rules, but it was updated in the FAQ.
Yeah, in the older days, you could save her and get even more benefit out of that if you had this ship from Victarion, which gives you power when being saved, but it was quite annoying. So I guess it was a right decision. They changed that.
Yeah, so 29 characters for a crossing deck. It's pretty low number. Are you happy with this? Only playing less than half of your cards are characters in this deck.
Yeah, we can argue about that, and maybe there are better ways, but I guess we need those slots. So maybe if after I showed you what we are playing in the locations, events, and attachment side, we can discuss how to increase the amount of characters. But it's not a stark crossing style. You're not going to swarm like 5 characters every round. It's it's a bit different here, and you often are in a situation where you can do 3 challenges with only 2 characters on board.
Okay.
So I guess we're going to locations now that might be more interesting than attachments and events. I do not like playing economy plots in crossing decks. So we have to take care that our economy is working without any high gold plot. So in this deck, we are playing 10 economy cards. We're playing some kind like 11 economy cards, but let me tell you. We are playing 1 Great Hall. Great Hall with 1, 2, 3, 5 characters that can be reduced by 2. Seems to be a good decision, but I guess 1 Great Hall is quite enough here. We are playing 3 rose roads and we are playing 3 sea towers. We need those 6 zero cost economy cards for our hopefully 3-2-0 setup. And in this deck, we are playing 1 King Balin Solar.
Oh,
One
that's
location
interesting.
that hasn't seen that play so much in the last years, but here it's quite a great card. In Greyjoy Crossing, you want to be first player. It's a null cost location, perfect for setup, and it's not limited. So it gives you a free gold almost every round, and it's perfectly settable. So this deck lacks of draw, and you do not draw many cards. The cards we have seen so far do not draw one single card, so we have to deal with this. So we are playing 3 Iron Gates in here. The Iron Gates are mostly used immediately, so these are not really economy cards, these are more draw cards. If you play these Iron Gates, you normally use them in the same round you played them. So it's basically 1 gold for 2 cards.
Okay.
We talked about how important it is, in particular for Bale and Greyjoy, to become stronger and stronger. And the best way to get Balon stronger, besides the crossing strength buff, is to get his ships on board. And I really like those Iron Fleet Scouts. Zero cost, perfect in setup. If you're a first player, it gives you a strength buff of 2. So we play 3 Iron Fleet Scouts, and to even more push Balon's abilities, we play 1 Great Kraken, which gives stealth to Balon, and even more important, gets our power amount growing fast.
Okay.
And we talked already about Made in Spain. This is our 16th location. If I counted right, we are at 16 now, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
So Great Kraken also can give you draw, right? Like, how often would you use it for draw and how often for power gain?
It's
in
always
typical
power.
games?
It's always
Always
power.
good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might have used this for draw, but it's always power.
Okay.
You want to close really early, maybe end of second or third plot, so use this for power. And normally with Theon, Balon, and Great Kraken, you are doing such a great power amount, you don't need to draw anything.
Got it.
We have 2 attachments here. The attachment Sweet Sleep. So we use it, of course, to protect our own characters and not to get it on the opponent's characters. The 2 Sweet Sleeps are here to mostly protect Balon, Asha, or Theon. Can be very annoying if they get milk or they get craven or whatever attachment there are. So just Sweet Sleep them and you are fine.
Okay, and then we have only 47 cards, so I guess we are playing a lot of events in this deck.
Yeah, we're playing a lot of events, and it is 13, as you pointed out. 6 of the 13th events are obvious. We are playing 3 Risen, and we are playing 3 We Do Not Sow. We Do Not Sow is maybe one of the best event there is in this game. Its flexibility, it is great. You can get rid of attachments. You can deal with annoying locations, no matter what the locations cost. Yeah, we play this 3 times. And we play 3 copies of my favorite event. It's a core event that fell a bit into oblivion, but it's getting more playtime after the raiding longship got restricted. We're talking about the Kraken's Grasp. I do really like this event. Your opponent always does not see that coming and tends to defend a little to less, or however to say. And this event helps a lot to get your unopposed challenger through and to get your power amount start growing fast. If
I
we
have to
are
say,
playing,
I agree. I always forget that this can come. So, and especially in some of the rounds, this makes all the difference. And then I feel confident and not having an unopposed, and then I look rather stupid when the event comes out. So I think it's a good choice.
yeah, and one other good point of this event is if it has seen played once, the way your opponent defend these challenges changes. Yeah, and the opponent thinks of if you really want to defend or if you need to defend more. And many people like to overtend it now, and to defend it with more strength that it needed to be, just to be safe from the Kraken's grasp. And that's a good thing for us too here. On the other hand, with Theon and Balon and Kraken's grasp in hand, Rise of the Kraken is going to bring you much power. But that's the plots. As I said, we do not draw many cards here. We have iron gates at the location, so we need to, but we need to find the Maiden's Bane or the Great Kraken sometimes. So we are playing at least 1 copy of Support of the People. I like this event very much. It's an deck search and not 10 or whatever cards, and if you have it on hand and you can play it, which is in this deck very easily with Balon or these Iron Fleet Scouts or whatever, you can grab whatever you want, and getting Maiden's Bane in on a sneaky way and then your character in the same action window is quite fun, and for you and not for the opponent, you know. But as I said earlier, there are situations where you only have 2 characters but can do 3 challenges, and this is quite an interesting thing in this deck. So 3 cards left. One of the 3 cards is the obvious Superior Claim. Gives you 2 powers to maybe close the game or to get more pressure on your opponent. And the last 2 events I do also like very much is Relentless Assault. It's a 0-cost event. It needs Infection card Neil, but we don't have any other cards in here which needs also a faction card Neil, so we are free for this. And we do win challenges by 5 quite often. So it's another nice trick to get your 3rd challenge through when you have now Intrigue icon in play. And just do another power challenge or do another mill challenge and get your power from the Lord of the Crossing. I played in the original version. I played the Seastone chair in this deck, which also need a faction card Neil, but I changed it for Relentless Assault, and I think it was the right decision here. But there might be good and fair reasons for playing the Seastones there instead, and maybe play another character or whatever for Relentless Assault.
So one small thing maybe we could note on a Relentless Assault that is easy to miss is that the faction card Neil is not a cost. So in case you play the event and it's cancelled, and for some reason you have another one on the hand, you can actually play it again, and that's different from most other events that require faction card kneels. So that's good to remember. Also good to remember if your opponent plays it, they don't have to kneel the faction card then if you cancel that.
Yeah, good point, Hannes. Of course. So we have 60 cards in the draw deck, I guess, and we need 7 cards for the plot deck. There are some cards we are not surprised to find here. I already spoke about Rise of the Kraken, which is an insane plot card, especially if you have Balon Greyjoy and Theon Greyjoy in play. And we talked about the Kraken's Grasp and that stuff. We talked about the stealth stuff here. I really like that card, and with Rise of the Kraken, the characters I told, and maybe the ship Great Kraken in play, it allows you to finish from even 3 or 5 power on your faction card and go to 15 power at all in one challenge phase. So this can be extremely fast if you have your pieces together. Until then, you have to until this happens, you have to build your board and control the power and control the opponent if in pushing challenges through. So normally you start with the maiden plot. I really do not like this, but it works here perfect. So this is mostly our first plot. As I said, you always want to go first. We are playing some high ini plots, but this helps a lot to ensure that you are going to be first player. We talked earlier about the importance of the Ironborn trait. Many of our characters have these Ironborn traits. So we are playing Vanquish the Unbelievers here. In this deck, if you are if you had a good setup and if you see a hand with maybe already one Relentless Assault in hand and maybe Balon and an Iron Fleet Scout on board and such things, Vanquish can be an extremely pressureful opener instead of the maiden. If you are playing a 2-claim plot which can do 4 military claim with Relentless Assault, just play it at opener and get the pressure on your opponent. But this depends clearly of what your opponent is playing and how your own setup was and how you feel about this.
Interesting. Usually you see this in decks that basically only have one trait, for instance, like a Drowned God or a Wildling trait. But here you have plenty of characters that are not Ironborn, so I guess if you set up someone like Kerwin or Meister Vendemir, you would just not consider this. And usually the games would end fast enough so that you would not need to reveal it at any point.
But there are situations where it's a good idea to push that through. When you lose some fishmonger and maybe some other dude, but you are pretty confident to get 2 military challenges through, then play it.
Right, and the Drowned God fanatic does not mind being killed in this way.
Yes. The other Greyjoy plot is we take Westeros. We don't have many raiders here. If I count right, I only play 2 raiders, the both Augment Reavers, which are only 2 cost, and so we played this plot almost only for stats and not for its text. But the 9 ini and the 5 gold ensures you're going to be first, and with the 5 gold you can play something useful.
Okay, so you will not use Euron to take a location back or something like that.
There might be situations where it's useful, but I don't think you would do that.
Yes,
Maybe
I think
get some Iron Gate back with some Augment Reaver. This is a play, yeah.
yeah, that was what I was going to say. In the last year, I think I've mainly seen this interaction: use the Iron Gate and then the smallest possible character. I think usually decks played the eager deckhand for this.
Yeah,
They needed to get the gate immediately back into play.
Yes, and use it immediately to get 2 cards. Valar Morghulis is a card that belongs to many Greyjoy decks. I played here. We can discuss if we should play Valar Morghulis, or I played a version with First Snow instead of Valar Morghulis to get at least a better ini and a better claim value here. But with Valar Morghulis, three risen from the sea, many dupes. I guess it's not a bad decision. And as we said earlier, we play the 6-cost box Asha, so we are free to play You Win or You Die. Gives us 2 cards, and it's the third 2-claim plot in this deck to get the pressure and to get the power amount growing fast. And the last plot many people won't expect in this deck is the King in the North. I really like this plot here. You can't use any of your locations while playing plot, but the ability of Theon, the ability of Balon, the ability of Asher, all that works. So we have stealths everywhere when Asher is out. Almost no one can defend when Theon and Balon are attacking in the first or the third challenge, and these stuffs work. And if you're playing this, it closes almost every trick of your opponent down, but many of your own things are working. So I guess it's a good plot here, and events work while playing the King in the North. So you can play all of your 13 events we mentioned before, and close the game or get further to it. That's all. We have 16 cards and we have 7 cards in plot deck. That's my Greyjoy, the Lord of the Crossing.
Excellent. So one of the things that I noticed with this deck is that it uses a lot of the cards from the core set. So it uses all of the in-faction Greyjoy events, 3 copies of all of them. And then you have core Balon, core Euron, and some of the other cards. So I know that there are some beginner players watching this who might not have the entire card pool, so I think this will be particularly useful for them, because they can build a lot of this deck just with the core set cards, obviously not in its entirety, because Theon is in one of the chapter packs and some other important cards here, but nice to see some of the old cards used in a fairly modern deck that is effective still to this day.
Yeah, I like that too. In one of my old descriptions of one of these decks, I called it Greyjoy old stuff, not new stuff, not good stuff, but it was Greyjoy old stuff, and that's exactly what it is. And there might be reasons here to replace Asha with a core Asha, which she's playing normally very, very nearly nothing nowadays. That doesn't see any play. But with her ability to do 2 challenges, she fits perfectly in the crossing theme, and might be a good choice here as well over the Asha. over the core over the box usher. I mean, so another core card that could do some damage here. Yeah, you mentioned the events, and I guess let me check. Yeah, Great Kraken is also a core card. So you have that. The Iron Fleet Scout are core cards, and there are many of those things were delivered in the very first box FFG released. They are still working. I mean, it's not the most competitive Greyjoy deck at the moment, I guess, but it's very fun to play. And if you play this in a tournament, you have time in every round to relax and refresh a bit, and you will never go in time. And that's also something important, maybe.
Okay, and I would imagine that let's say Prince Balon deck might look similar, although not exactly the same. So how would you say what's the main distinguishing criterion from this Greyjoy Crossing setup to a Prince Balon deck that you might build?
The Prince Balon deck is maybe stronger because it draws more cards, but it's much more boring, in my opinion. And the main difference is the warship theme. In Prince Balon, you use the warship Victorian, you use the box Euron, and you use Pike, and you use these warships to get things done. And maybe not those events, and yeah, that might be the main difference. And of course, you are using 7-cost Archer in Prince Balon deck. It might be stronger, but in my opinion, more boring.
Okay. And the other thing we always want to know, like, against what kind of decks do you do well with this Greyjoy Crossing, and against what kind of decks do you have problems, roughly speaking?
When you're playing Crossing and your first challenge is always one strength, or every character in the first challenge you do is one strength less strong. Burn is always to overcome here. But this deck can be very fast, so maybe even burn can be solved. I guess playing some super controlling decks, maybe something like Builders from the Night's Watch, or something like Icon Control from Mattel could be a problem. But I guess you are in a quite good position against all decks that want to build a board as well. Some of the decks that are strong nowadays, like these Night's Watch decks with great ranging, should be okay. I guess this deck is too fast for Night's Watch great ranging. When you manage to be first player all the time, you have to. I guess you are done before they overtake the match, and I don't think they are that bad matchups here. Beside these control decks I spoke of, and something like Lady Kraken is always hard, and Shadows is something you have to deal with here. And, yeah, but if you're playing against decks that want to have a board and they want to have they want to do challenges, you are in a quite good spot, I guess.
All right. So, if you face great ranging, that's okay. But if Miha takes his Baranil, you might be in trouble with this deck.
I'm not sure. Baranil is a problem. It all depends if how many fanatics you see when your opponent sees Melisandre and Celice and such things. But yeah, that can give you a very hard time. But as Greyjoy Balon, also these decks need maybe 1 or 2 really good rounds to finish. So there always is a chance.
Okay. And apart from the tips you already gave, so if somebody new were to take up Greyjoy Crossing, are there any common mistakes or pitfalls that you would, suggest to avoid or play around?
That's a tough question. You have to be careful with your economy here. If you don't see any economy just take a mulligan. Even if your setup seems to be perfect, with no economy card among your plot cards, it's hard to play your stuff out in the rounds after that. So you have to find your economy in the setup and in the first round and this. Otherwise it will backfire as hard. Yeah, and like always, don't be so greedy, huh? Don't play out everything you can just because you can. So keep it balanced. And but if you're confident and you think you can rush this out, then do it. And from play wise scene, this deck is very easy to pilot. Use Theon for first challenge, use Balon for third challenge, do Intrigue as second challenge, which whatever character is available, and play your sneaky events in the right order. Nothing spectacular about that, but also very hard to see for your opponent, I guess.
Yes, I think this could be difficult to play against because you have tricks that are not easy to play around. For instance, Iron Fleet Scouting Crossing, you have some characters that have strength 1 or strength 2 and they become, for instance, strength 0 in the first crossing challenge, but of course with an Iron Fleet Scout in play, that easily becomes a challenge that you need to oppose if you want to defend it. And there is another element, always when playing against Greyjoy, you do not want to concede any unopposed challenges because you don't know what the penalty will be. There could always be we do not sow and stuff like that in hand, so you need to kind of defend everything. And then there is the 2 claim as well, which you don't expect in such a rush deck where you need to just defend the military because you can't just keep taking the 2 claim military on those big plots. So lots of tricks that you need to kind of defend yourself against to survive, I guess, against this deck.
Yeah, totally agree here. Yeah, I guess we have to talk about this number. I mean, we have 29 characters. We all try to build decks with at least half of our cards are characters, and we have here 29, and these are only few characters. So guys, if you had to skip one of the other cards, what would it be? Is one Sweet Sleep enough when playing 3 We Do Not Sow? Might be. Are 2 Iron Gates enough, but you desperately need that draw? Maybe we can play only 1 Risen from the Sea. I don't know. So what do you guys think?
That's a good question. I think it's a meta call. For example, if you have heavy attrition in the meta, I think you need the 3 Risen, and heavy control, you need the 2 Sweet Sleep. But if you feel like they're playing, like everybody's playing great ranging, then maybe 1 or 2 Risen and 1 Sweet Sleep might be enough, and rather chuck in another character or 2. So I think it makes sense to me to play it like that. But depending on what you're expecting in a tournament or overall to play, I could see that you might swap an attachment or event for that. But from what you said earlier, I would, for example, don't take out another economy card here for another character, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And I think 29 is not such a terrible number. We always advise new players to aim above 30, somewhere in the low to mid 30s, I guess. But I've played decks, successful decks with less than 30 characters before. I
Yeah.
think 27 even.
Yeah.
And if it works after you test it for a while, then it's not a big deal.
Yeah, and I guess it depends on your play style, how you are going to play this. If you don't feel comfortable with this, just changes and get more characters and maybe lose some speed, but it's don't have to be a problem then. Then maybe you win in fourth round and not in third round maybe, but yeah, it can be worthy for your play style. Just give it a try, test it, and yeah, it's, as always, if you see a deck someone else built, grab it, test it, and change it.
Yes, exactly. Alright, so there we are. Huge thanks to Alexander for joining us on this one. It was a very interesting deck.
Thank you for having me. It was fun to talk about these decisions while deck building. Sometimes you can't really remember why you did some decisions, and sometimes it's very good to think of it while speaking over it. So thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, I learned a lot about Greyjoy, and thanks Miha for hosting again.
Yeah, as always. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.